Hey everybody, welcome to another draw along. This is going to be kind of a quick one today. I didn't record yesterday. I wasn't in an awesome mood, coming off of that a little bit, and I want to be consistent, but not always going to be super motivated. So I'm just gonna try to make this quick. We started the other day drawing alphabet shapes, letters of the alphabet. We did A, B, C, and D, so I thought we'd do E, F, and G. And then we have another spot over here in case we feel like going one more or if we want to repeat one of them. And these boxes are a little bit smaller than the area I drew, the size I drew the first letters, so it might be a little bit of a challenge trying to get them to fit in here. I have to make sure I keep tabs on how big I'm drawing these boxes. And the last time I drew the letters very thick, I would like to make them a little bit more thin, maybe a little bit more upright than my other letters were, almost like lying down on the ground. So we're just gonna get started here with an E. I'm gonna make it like this tall, I think. And it's gonna go back. That's gonna be how wide it is right there. And that's gonna be how tall it is, or how deep it is, how tall it is. And then this will be how wide it is. Am I doing this right? I think so. Yeah, so this will be coming up here, and then there. Yeah, okay, this is what I was imagining. All right, so basically with the E and the F will be kind of similar. The E, we have 3 sides of the E already created. So what we need to do is draw the 3 little extensions of the E, or at least decide how thick we want these extensions to be. So I'm just gonna go like that for the top one, like that for the bottom, and then this will be center. And I'm actually gonna draw these. How big? I want them to come back to about there. And this line and this line are gonna be parallel. Oh, come on. Okay. And then this will go up here. I'm imagining this line. I'm not drawing it, but it'll be right about there. And then this line and this line are parallel. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, so this will be the center of the middle bit, and then I want this line. I want to draw the center line there. Okay, so this is gonna come down to, I'm gonna make little dots about how wide I want the center bit to be. And then from those little dots, I'm gonna connect to the top and then draw this line out. I'll draw it just short. And then get that. Okay, cool, I like that. Now we just need to make it, create the depth. I'll go back in and darken these lines up after we get the construction all completed. Okay, so wait, all right, now I gotta make sure I draw the depth of the center bit the same depth as this line, and I don't know how I can make sure that happens, unless, oh, you know what I can do? So I'm gonna draw this line down, very lightly, a little light construction line, and then go around the back, and then this line will come up. Okay, so it'll be right about there. That's close. So I'm gonna draw this line and this line are parallel, and that's parallel. Okay, all right, yeah, we got that. It's interesting how you have to construct the shape, whatever the shape may be, putting in little guidelines to try and keep the perspective correct, or the you know, make the just the proportions correct so it doesn't look too wonky. And I think I think I did all right on this one. Now let's darken this up a little bit. Basically just tracing over my lines here. Tracing lines and connecting dots. That's basically all this is at this point. Well, that's a little off at the bottom there. Nice, we have an E. Let's I want to go ahead and imagine the light is maybe coming from this direction. So I think what I want to do is not getting too detailed with all the ins and outs of light and shadow, but I think I'm just going to shade in this side of the E, the bottom side, all these faces. We'll just leave it at that and see how it looks. Yeah, it's great. I like it. All right, I'm gonna do basically the same perspective, the same angle for an F. Ooh, I almost started drawing the line too heavy there at the start. Ooh, I forgot, I gotta go deep and then across. And then up. And then the depth. And then this line. And this line. And then that line, this line. So I need to bring this up a little bit more. And then this line will be coming down this way. And then those corners will meet. All right, we have the box for the F. And basically create it very similar to how we created the E. We're gonna make this top part of the F there. And then I'm gonna find the center, about the center. I don't know how to figure exactly what center. Do a little construction line, and then a little construction line this way for the center of the F. All right, and then I'm gonna draw another line on top, and then another line on bottom, and then decide how long I want this middle part to come out, and it'll be right about there. And then from here, I'm gonna extend this line down. I'm kind of imagining the line, I'm not drawing it really. And then bringing it down this way. Okay. And then from the bottom, bring it all the way back up, it'll be right about there. That's not quite accurate, but it's close enough. All right, so it'll be about that deep. Okay, it doesn't look too bad. I think I'm getting a little sloppy with this one. It's a little bit easier to create blocky letters, so I think maybe I might tend to rush a little bit more, or would have the tendency to, and maybe not, just maybe lose focus a little bit. Yeah, I'm not really doing all the construction lines so much. I'm sort of just waving my pen over where I think it's gonna go, and then trying to, you know what, I actually kind of messed up. This is not extending down as far as I wanted to. You can see I think this is extending down a little bit further, but now that I did this line and this line, this line and this line will be parallel, but if I bring this line out, it doesn't match up to my other pen mark, so I'm gonna have to extend this down a little bit further to meet up with it. And then, so I'll come up here to meet that. Okay, yeah, we got our F there. Oh, almost, oh my gosh. There's like 3 lines I forgot to draw here. So this line will come up and it'll be, and then this line and this line are parallel. And then we'll match up these 2 lines. Cool. All right, now we have an F. Now let's go over this and darken it up. Do the same as I did with the E and just cover or hatch out the bottom facing faces. And what I talked about before, how I don't understand light and shadow, and I'm not going into all the details of it, is that some of this part of the F here maybe blocking light from this face, so maybe part of this part or all of this face would also be covered in shadow, but I'm not worrying about that right now. All right, let's see if we can get a G in here. This is gonna be a bit more challenging because it's rounded, at least challenging for me. So let's see, so it's gonna come down, and then cross, and then up, parallel with this line. Kind of constructing this weird. I don't like how I'm constructing it. It's sloppy. Still haven't figured out a solid method for which lines to draw first, second, third, and so on. Okay, so that's kind of a rough box there, and I think it's going to be a little tight to fit a G in here. How are we going to do this? All right, so I'm going to have the G. It's going to be a little... I think it's going to come down a little here. And then it's going to be rounded over there. And then rounded here. And then rounded at the bottom. And then rounded back up. To about here, and then I want it to cut in right there. Okay, we'll start there. Looks like a G just with that little line that I drew. So let's see if we can get the rest of it in here. Okay, so this is So this rounded corner is going to mirror this rounded corner. And then this edge here will come down and round, come down straight and round into the bottom, okay. All right, and the same thing, this rounded corner is going to mirror, oh, you know what, I should draw a little construction line there. Okay, this is going to mirror that, so it'll come up like this, and I think this will be straight here. Okay, and then, let's see, I want to bring this down here and back in, and then it will also be rounded. Okay, I'm getting it. Okay, and then this, so this line here will be parallel to this line. Okay, and then this line, and did I get that? It looks okay. I think I can figure it out from there. This line, and that line. Okay, now I gotta draw the inside bottom portion, which would stem from here, come up. I'm probably gonna get this a little weird. And that will just disappear. And then this line and this line will come down. I don't think you'll see any more of that. All right, that looks like a G. I'm happy with this. This inside line here, I'm not exactly sure. I actually think I drew it a little too skinny because I think it should be as wide as this, but we're already here now. If I try to go over it again, it'll look bad. I've already drawn this line a bit too heavy, so we'll just lean into it. Let's start darkening up these lines. I feel like that's a little bit harder to follow. And curved line too. Well, it's curved, so there's also not like, there's not a hard edge to stop and then draw another line like there are with boxier shapes. So I feel like I try to do one long line, one pen stroke all the way around, and that can be a little tough. Nice, all right. And we'll shade the bottom of this G here, just like the other letters. But this is rounded, so it'll sort of lighten up as we get around the corner a little bit. And then this will all be the same. And then start there light and go a little bit darker as we get in here. I want this to be a little bit darker too. Oh, and then up in here. Nice. E, F, and G. That's good. I like how these turned out, actually. The G's a little bit skinny. The G was a little challenging. The F I was worried about, but it turned out pretty good. So I'm happy about that. Cool. I'm glad this worked out. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you drew along, I hope you liked how your letters turned out. Thanks for showing up with me, even though I could have taken another day off. Glad that I was here with you. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.